Greetings and Merry Christmas. Uh, This is Frida Redementia. I welcome you to the second day of my 12 days of Christmas lore. Tonight, I do a quick review of the famous incident known as the Christmas Truce. I choose this due to the fact that the second day it says that it presents two turtle doves, with the dove being a symbol of peace. Just a quick reminder, I'll be trying. The 12 days of Christmas are like the actual days are. It's like the first day is actual Christmas Day, and with the other 12 days going up, with the 12th day actually being on, I believe, would be January 5th. So, and I'll be trying to get one video out for all of them. Though hopefully future videos will. Hopefully I'll get it out that they come out like in the middle of the day. Anyway, let's see what. The lead up to the Christmas Truce is that in the earlier years, in 1914, which is among the early years of the First World War, the Great War, or we come upon December when December. Now this was not just like the first major. This was just like the first every time anyone they gave some sort of truce was given, officially or unofficially. There have been many small truces of it, and like I think soldiers on both sides realized they couldn't just bark and shoot whenever like a single soldier head a little. They have to give the enemy some like concessions, and which will be returned to them, hopefully. They like there. Common truce was like they both sides basically make sure they had meals at the same time, so that when those happen, they both neither side would fight and be guaranteed a respite. I mean, outside of the main problem fighting was not between the enemy sides, but with the battle of the weather. As you know, the churches were dug out. Churches are over, meaning a lot of exposed dirt. That particular year that December had been very rainy, so a lot of mud and such. And it was. There was also a clear need to allow some steam and stuff. Field Marshal French of the British military. Take a second to think of the irony. Had previously had many large-scale assault stuff in order to improve morale, like stuff. With the result being so many British casualties, clearly he got something wrong there. So spirits are low. Both Germany, not so much. Still having a little bit of time, but still, everyone is like away from home and stuff. And a lot of these are just first time war. Or, you know. And after the initial of the fluid. It's really just bad. Although one major way to try to improve morale was the use of packages and gifts and presents. Along with the leadership and royalty of both sides, like sending mass packages to all the soldier stuff, and usually with their names or images on them, to boost up. Plus, like actual gifts from their families at home, like large thing of cigarettes and cakes and big goods and different liquor, spirits and stuff. Liquors and spirits to help improve the mood. Sadly, a lot of these things didn't have quite help as much as they would have because of the trenches are already getting so muggy and stuff, and now you have to take extra like the more gooded areas go to storage of these gifts. So, many officers also noticed they were not liking the small truces going on all the, and were trying to very much fight for ways of enforcing discipline and to making sure no fraternization. However, the said weather before one day, it was the Christmas Eve before on Christmas Eve, basically had a clear skies and stuff and a mild chill. While there was a mild chill, all it really did was help freeze the ground. For once giving them solid footing. And so we see the beginnings of truce. As part of things, the way to keep morale up, they would have officers would have to start having people say carols and stuff to move. And across some of the German line, some of the lines, the British could hear the Germans start singing these carols to help move, and something offers and something. If you ever seen the movie Zulu, sort of the final battle at the end, like that, they would try to basically prove their pride and patriotism to better, and have them sing their own songs to prove better in this weird duel of musical sort of. However, as they start getting to songs they have in common, they begin to harmonize and both and across them they start singing together. And while the people start braving the threats to make deal agreements ceasefire, officers, but many of them were actually done by the rank and files. I just agreed. Though with a few cases where some people did not agree, it would unfortunately lead to some casualties. But for one part, all down across the lines. And at least the British and German lines. The French and Belgian soldiers whose fighting lands they were fighting on were less inclined to socialize with the enemy currently occupying their and have at least be enough to agree to let them to bury their own dead. However, for those who did go, they were able to get out of the churches. It was a nice trip, finally able to walk around and stuff, and actually met their enemies peacefully in no man's land. Along with the fallen of the war, who were left there in the heat of battle, in the retreat and stuff. I'm sorry. So, not wanting to give them, they did joint burials of all soldiers right there, regardless of where they come from, right there in no man's land. And along the joint mourning, a sense of friendship came along. And then they decided to more socializing, talking to each other and stuff. And through that, they also started exchanging gifts. Like I said, there was an excess of certain types of gifts which were popular to send to troops online. But these were usually have like more common among specific nationalities, which means soldiers of other nations would not necessarily have the same, and were able to just exchange such gifts with each other. One interesting exchange between like two officers, Holt and Thomas. Holt being, I believe, the British, and Thomas being the German. Thomas handed them letters and a Victoria Cross. He took it off. Taken off of a dead British officer who, in the last attack, made it to the German lines, but did not make it back, so that they could be sent to his family. Touched by this, as Holt actually took off his own a gift from home and gave him, and the Thomas, feeling guilty and not having his own gift to give, orders the soldiers bring him his newly acquired from home fur-lined gloves. People keep rushing back into the lines and stuff and want to get like games of sports, like different balls to play. Hey, and it was a quite an exchange of pace. One that could not last, sadly. Eventually, word got round to the officer. The field marshal was not. He had specifically given orders to prevent fraternization, which seems like a very Scrooge gets moved through. Keep in mind, though, that they know the truce won't last, and eventually these people you were starting to befriend, you're going to have to go back to killing each other. So this is more for. So hard to say, they had to bring it to an end. Many of the officers ordered their troops back in line and gave their counterparts salutes and shot down there to signal the end of the truce. Though some forces were unwilling to let us go and held up to as far as just before New Year's Eve. But unfortunately, the higher-ups were able to get the more motive by bringing the big guns like artillery and sniper fire to get the point across that this truce. They made steps to also prevent future truces that were not authorized. Such as court-martials. Well, very few officers actually were punished for letting this happen, and just because of how massive this ended up being, how widespread it was. Future ones, officers and troops who attempted to make more truce, were then court-martialed. And it became less and less necessary to do that, as this is the war in its very younger days. As it went on stuff, and a lot of the troops were there, been there a couple of years, and seeing many of their friends come down, we were feeling a lot less charitable to those who probably pulled the trigger. That's how they ended. But while the truce, there was no more Christmas truces that year, the story became widespread, and in future wars, official truces were often tried, at least temporary ceasefires were often, and try to, future, World War II, the agreements there to prevent that. That's fine. And even in the Korean War, where it was the Western world versus the new communism, with they were able. to negotiate a Christmas ceasefire. So, despite that, the communists being famously pro, the communists at the time being predominantly pro-atheist, and therefore not see what would not really celebrate a religious holiday. So, while those impromptu truces were gone, they were not forgotten, as we still remember them today. I thank you for joining me. If you want to see any of the materials I used to make this, check out these links. They'll be also in the description. Thank you for joining me. As always, this is Freedom Adventure, and I wish thee good fortune on the quest of life. I also wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and overall Happy Holidays.